really at the end of the day, we know that the quality of the product, the safety of a flight operation comes down to the people that are working in that flight operation. So I want to talk a little bit about how you've motivated your teams to perform at their best. So how do you manage and motivate your maintenance teams of technicians to achieve that optimal productivity while also making sure that they achieve a level of job satisfaction that keeps them really engaged in what they're doing?
So obviously right now, this one's kind of tough, right? Everybody's shorthanded. We're all dealing with, the lack of available staff for, just day-to-day operations. It is a normal as of now. So some of the things that I've done here in the past couple of months and over the last 2 years is, I've implemented, as long as we don't have anything heavy going on, if you want to take time off, take time off. If you don't have any time left in the bank, well, then you can take it unpaid. If you really need time off, just go. If you have a family issue, you don't need to ask, you just need to go, and then send me a text, after you get there. Take care of your family, take care of your personal health and your well-being, and make sure that, you're taken care of, because if you don't have yourself taken care of, you don't have anything left to give anybody else. And as far as motivating, the teams to, provide their best effort at work, I mean, most small shops have, one level, maintenance, and then there's a director of maintenance, and that's it. They don't see any career progression. They don't see any difference between what they do today and where it's going to get them in 5 years, 10 years down the road. They're still just going to be a mechanic, and this still takes time in big companies regardless, but kind of rewriting the script on how the hangar is formed and making different levels of technician and kind of putting separation and showing career progression and, places for them to excel and move up into. The larger the operation gets, the more the structure needs to change to support the variation of different operations. So in that, you create management and supervisor spots that people can then, work towards. But you've got to show them the path from where they're currently at and what they're missing to get to where they want to be. And then work with them on those as well. So, I have line techs that want to be, A&P mechanics. We're working on their schooling. I have line techs that want to be pilots and work in dispatch. I've actually promoted a couple here. We have, mechanics on the floor that eventually want to, be manager or DOM or, any of those variations in between. And it's just, meeting with them on a regular basis, discussing where they want to be, how to get there, and then, helping them along the way, showing them the steps they need to take. That is far more motivating than, a $2 pay raise or a pizza Friday or any of that. Being physically and mentally involved in their well-being.
Yeah, I was gonna point out. So we launched a poll. Which factors do you think make the biggest impact on motivating your team? And the lowest percentage response was incentives and rewards. And that kind of points to exactly what you just said. At a certain point, it's really about someone's well-being and the fulfillment they get in their work. Maybe not adding another zero to the paycheck.
Right. You can get $1 an hour pay raise anywhere. What we're trying to provide is something different. It's a cultural difference, and that's really what we're trying to put forward into our group. And it has made a difference. Verifiably, that my leadership can see a difference in my mechanics from before I started to now. So, that to me is far more valuable than, fighting for a, $2 pay raise.
Right. Yeah.
Yeah. I want to jump. I think Bruce is exactly right. I think when people want to know that you care, because $2, caring for someone doesn't get taxed. It has more value than you think. It returns. It's probably one of the greatest returns on investment that you can provide. I was also going to say ice cream, but apparently it's not going to be.
I mean, it's fun, right? To have ice cream or pizza with everybody, but really, that's just to get the conversation started.
2 more questions for you guys, like some tips to prevent burnout, and then how can you in a very practical way help a struggling team member perform maybe better than they are today?
Coaching, so much fun. So, we all have at least one person in our past or, in our current hangar somewhere that has struggled. Maybe they're new, maybe they came from somewhere else and, they weren't doing all that well there and nobody cared to support them. You just got to find that one thing that gets through to them and then, capitalize on that and use it as that pivot point. I have an employee right now that I'm working with that, he's been doing this for 4 or 5 years. But, he still really hasn't come into his own. He hasn't really caught on to it. He's been in a couple of different places and nowhere did somebody really grab a hold of him and say, look, you need to just tell me when you don't understand or when you don't know or whatever, and we can work with you and move you into the position where you can be at least an expert on one thing, and then build that confidence. And then they become that expert on other things as well because they're confident enough to go in and try other things. It's a confidence builder and a constant interaction. It can be taxing. And ways to prevent burnout. Me personally, hobbies. You got to have something where you can turn off your brain, turn off the cell phone, put all the electronics away, and get away from the day to day. And a lot of people are going to think this is funny. It's out there in the world for everybody to know. Anyways, if you look on my LinkedIn profile, it's all over the place. I'm what's known as an AFOL. I am an adult fan of Lego. You can turn off your brain and build something really cool. And it gives me not only, some mental well-being and some mental peace, but it also gives me a way to interact with my kids. Maintenance is pretty labor intensive and, very time intensive. So I'm always involved in something. So it gives me that in to come back and kind of pick up something that my kids and I were building together. And, it shuts all that outside stuff off, which everybody needs. So you got to find that hobby that allows you to shut everything else off, whether it's fishing or building old cars or painting or whatever it is. For me, it's dealing with ABS plastic stacked in different shapes.
Love it. I love it.